Hello YouTube, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me again. I am blown away that you're still here, so I really want to say a big thank you. So if you don't know it by now, my name is Rachel Sadler and I'm the owner of Ada's Attic Vintage. In today's video I'm going to be sharing with you some of my knowledge that I've learned over the past 6 years from running and building up my vintage shop. On what vintage designs that you should be buying if you want to sort of invest your money now and see a good return in the future if you ever decide to sell, because let's face it, they're hard to let go, aren't they? So I've got a selection of 2 piles of clothes here surrounded by vintage clothing. It's a dream. Olive's just on the floor there. You're here, I'm there. No, that's not right. But we get the gist, don't we? So should we just get down to it? So now I don't buy a label just because it's a label, because I don't like to do that. I just like to buy things that I like. So everything that I buy I like for their design, and if they happen to be a label, that is extra good, obviously. Now if you have watched some of my previous videos, like my previous vintage shopping tip videos, you'll see that I'll give you a selection of ways that you can actually buy vintage. If you have taken my advice and gone to a charity shop, it does always make me chuckle what they class as a design label. You'll often see Topshop and ASOS in there, and then other brands that we would refer to as design labels like Max Mara, things that are actually really are design labels but maybe not as so well known, would be classed as just, you know, run-of-the-mill stuff, but not like designer, Topshop and ASOS. So that does always make me smirk. So it is always worth having a rummage and looking around everywhere, because you never know what you'll find, because some of the most collectible vintage designers are very scarce and hence would be very unknown. So if you're just starting out and you're not really sure where to go, you want to make sure that you're not going to get ripped off, because obviously if someone does know what it is, it's going to be a bit of a high price point. One of the best resources I have found in the past, and I use every day now, is vintagefashionguild.org. Now that has a vast label resource on there. It will show you labels from loads of millions of different designers that you've probably never heard of. Some obviously that you would have done, Burberry, Chanel, all that. Will all be on there documented. They'll give you actual visuals of real labels, and sometimes they'll actually give you visuals for fakes as well. So it's a really good site. I'll write it in the description below so you can go and check it out. I really do recommend you just going to have a look on there if you are thinking about moving into the designer vintage field. It is a really good resource and it's something that I use every day. So I'm going to just start showing you a few pieces now and things I look at so I can see when I know it's something a little bit special. So as you can see, we have this very cool, very 80s gold metallic shirt on. Now I love this shirt because this is separate, which also makes me feel like if this has survived, someone has taken good care of this, haven't they? So they've made sure it's been kept with it. It's in lovely condition. It's very sort of silky feeling metallic fabric, which is rare for this sort of finish, because usually, especially with it being older, this is from the 80s, can be a bit scratchy sometimes, but this is very soft to feel. And I love the buttons. Now it looks like a covered button, doesn't it? It's not, it's actually a popper. That intrigued me, that did. And then it is a designer label as well, but I forgot what it's called. I think I'll comment below. I forgot what it's called, sorry. And I just like the way that it comes in at the waist. I'll stand up so you can see. And yeah, so the things that I looked at for this piece was the fact that the fastening's always a key thing. The better the fastening, the better quality the garment is in general. And if it does have a separate piece like this, you often see dresses with belt loops and no belts. Usually they would have come with a belt. It is always key that they've been well looked after and maintained, and also the quality of the material as well. If it's something silky, it's usually going to be a better name. Also, I like wearing this around the waist. Kind of wish that I could have worn this out to that Hindu that I went to a few weeks ago. Right. A thing with vintage as well, I'm always learning. You always come across a design that you'd never heard of before. Last year I had the most amazing black Bill Gibb sort of knitted poncho, kimono, cape top. I'm doing this because it had a lot of movement to it. It was amazing. I'd never heard of Bill Gibb before. shame on me, he's a huge British designer around the 70s, slightly overlooked in comparison to like Bieber and things that we would instantly know. But I did my research, went on that website, vintagefashionguild.org, and I was blown away that I didn't know him. So you're always learning, and obviously Google is our friend, isn't it? If it's not on there, because sometimes I have come across pieces that aren't on there, I would go onto eBay and just search to see if anyone else has information on listing, or Etsy. I use that as a resource as well, because another vintage seller might have already found a piece by them and have found their research out themselves, so they're also good research points as well. But obviously Vintage Fashion Guild is by far the best. This little dress here, 80s again. Now you probably can't see on. Oh yeah, there you go, look, it goes in at the waist, it's got a beautiful pleat detailing. That there is going to be so flattering on, so I instantly thought, nice. Then it's all silk, it has the ribbed cuff detail, and then I did actually recognise this brand, Jean and Martin Palat. Now, I'm going to show you this label because this is an excellent example. On the camera. See there. Now, lovely label, nice thick quality, as you can see the finger going. Then lift it up, highly embroidered. Embroidered labels are always a good sign that you're on to a winner, because you're not going to have an embroidered label if it's nothing special, and that is also a good proof of the fact that it's vintage, because you don't get very many embroidered labels now if you shop in the boring high street, do you? So that's another key sort of indicator for you. Again, like I said, it's got great fabric. Now, this is another example. So it's a really super little cute skirt suit. Now, this is a designer skirt suit by... Oh my god, I can't speak, can I? So I'm never going to be able to say this. Wanda Zaklika. That sounded pretty good to me, but I'll write below so you can actually see and tell me how to say it, because I'm sure I've done that wrong. Wanda Zalika, London. Now, this is a good example as well, because this shows another way to detect that something's of good quality. The fact that the skirt is fully lined. Highly decorative pieces, so it's got lots of embroidery, which would have had to been hand stitched on. And show the little jacket. And then matching on the cropped jacket, and it's been done on the collar, which is just so cute, isn't it? And the sleeves. Now look at the fastening on this. I'll undo one side, and then I can show you it. So excited. It's so soft, it's actually slipping off my leg. Who needs to be able to touch something here with a description like that? So this is a cute little jacket, and then here, to hide your modesty, is just a little bit of fabric that's been put in using poppers. It's just so lovely. It's really, really pretty. Let me just check to see if I can find a garment label in it to show me the fabric. It's definitely a linen on the outside. It feels like silk, to be honest, on the inside. It's so soft. No, unfortunately that is common with the vintage clothing. There was no need, there was no legal requirement like you have now to put like material label inside a piece of clothing. So it's often done by touch, I'm afraid, now, but it's just so soft that I don't know, I'm showing you because you can't see how soft it is, but it's lovely. It feels like a silk blend, and with a quality label like this. So I hadn't heard of her before, but because I was out and about and I saw how decorative and pretty these pieces were, I thought I was onto something special. So I just googled her and she came up straight away. So that is really good. Now, I had heard of this before, but I was speaking to my mum the other day and telling her what I bought, and she hadn't, and my mum is down with it. She used to shop in Bieber, people. No, she didn't keep any of it. I have forgiven her, I don't know how though. But it's a different subject, so we should just move on. So, House of Worth, London. Come in for you all. Come on, camera. There you go. So it's got a beautiful, there you go, crossed tied front detail with like the tassely ends. And then it's so beautiful, this velvet fabric, so soft, with a beautiful cross hatch detail to it as well. Oh, you can see it really well there. And then a wonderful, quite large, really, seeing how delicate the zip is with it again is shows you how old it is. Because obviously as technology has progressed, so things have got smaller. Little cropped jacket. Now I had heard of this, I knew it was a very, very, very old brand. I think it started in the 1800s. And it does have that sort of Edwardian vibe to this outfit, and it's just amazing, so pretty. Instantly, as soon as I touched it, it feels like silk velvet, not that horrible polyester stuff that you can get now. And the detailing with all the braiding work is exquisite, and it's in such great condition. I really like the little neck line here. So all those things made me think, oh, you're onto a winner here, Rach. And then I checked out, obviously, the label. Now it's quite crudely sewn in, this one, which again, if it's more of a modern designer, I would say you need to be a bit wary of it. If with a piece like this, because this is very old, this piece, that fits into the era when it would have been made, because it would have been hand stitched in. So if you are buying a piece from like a really well-known designer, which has obviously a lot of forgeries in it, so we'll use the example of Chanel, you really need to be careful. So if you see a Chanel, there'll be loads of resources on Chanel, especially on that website vintagefashionguild.org. I don't work for them, obviously, it is really useful. And it's all free. Someone actually uploads the information that they know, so it's a really valuable site to go and check out, just even if you're interested in it slightly. You want to check like the thread. If it's a delicate garment, it's going to use delicate thread. If it's messy, I'd stay away from it. You want to check the sort of the design of like the piece of clothing, if it fits in with like the label, because sometimes if pieces of clothing that were really designed pieces of clothing were damaged beyond repair, people will take the labels out and then sew them into pieces of clothing that weren't originally done by that designer, which is sad, isn't it? But you can buy labels like that on eBay. It's awful, really, really sad. That's what some people do. But you really want to inspect it, you want to check that it's spelt right, because the amount of things that you see with Channel, C-H-A-N-N-E-L, is hilarious. I've seen a mulberry bag with a tree upside down. Well, that did actually take me, like, come on, who would buy that? But check spellings, check where they're made, because a lot of things get confused, and there'll be... and just really check to see where it's placed in the garment as well. So you need to bear all these things in mind. Don't rush your purchase. You can stand in the shop until they kick you out and just Google away before you commit to buying it, because you don't want to be misled and then spend a lot of money on something that isn't actually what you think it is, do you? Because that'd be very sad. So yeah, so back to this. I knew how House of, I keep saying House of Worth London was a very old brand. I think it started early 1800s, but I need to double check that really because I've forgotten. And then the little top, and then this skirt is so cool. I love how much design has gone into a piece, which is also another great indicator. So we've got this beautiful satin sash waistband. There's a slight bit of boning in the skirt, which I have never seen before, which again it would reference the age of the piece of clothing. Again, if you are buying something because of its age, you need to really think about when certain fastenings that we take for granted now were around. So zips, classically in the 50s, were in the back of the garment, and then they moved to the side later on. Plastic zips didn't come into mass production, into use in clothing for years and years and years. So metal zips were the thing, and the only thing that you could use again as poppers and hooks, the hook and eye fastenings, which is what is on this skirt. So it's got a hook and eye fastening to the back, a zip fastening here, so you can get in. And then what I really loved about this, because I think, oh my god, it's so cool, fully lined as well, and again it's so soft, it looks like it's barely been worn, is the fact that it has a metal zip all the way up the front. Now I've undone it so you can kind of see. So this is, it literally goes all the way to about here, so about 2 inches from the top of the waistband. Now I think this is really clever idea. So it allows you to wear this outfit however you like. You can show a bit more leg or show a little bit less. So I've never seen that on any skirt, let alone a piece of clothing which is as old as this. So I was really blown away by that little simple design detail. Again, it's been lovely lined and it's got like a bit of braiding. There you go, well done camera. Detail around the edge. Very elegant. Lovely. Oh, I'm excited about trying that one on actually. Oh, now. Love a braided waist belt. Try that one there so you can see. Now, Jemia, I have heard of her. She is a very collectible designer piece that we'll see quite a few of her pieces out and about there. I have had quite a few of her pieces before, but she is a lovely designer piece to own. I love this dress. I love obviously the braided neckline and how it's like a jersey fabric to this. 100% viscose, made in England. Also another good sign of quality is if it's made in England. And it has the correct label in it because I've done my research. Again, highly embroidered label at the back, which is great. I love the romantic sort of design of this dress. I love all that detailing on the sleeves there. It's got a nice weight to the fabric, so it hangs beautifully on. And sort of tab detail and pleating around the sides there. All finished off with, I think it has 2 pockets. Yes, 2 pockets. Love a pocket. And this matching fabric belt. So again, all these things added up. So as I'm thinking of something, even though like if I go shopping with my mum or something like that, she's like, oh, you go so fast, you know, looking at everything. I always go to the end. I always go down to the bottom of the pile. I always go to the end of the shop, end of the garage, end of the loft. Always, always, always. But I know what I'm looking for in my eyes. I can sort of now, because I've had so much experience in it, see something from afar and think, oh, I like it, I like it, I like it. But I try and play it cool. And so all these things, like once you start putting them into practice, they will get a lot easier and they will just become second nature, really. So I've just got 2 more things to show you. Oh no. Okay. So this is another designer I hadn't actually heard of until recently. So it's a beautiful linen skirt suit, fully lined with silk. Lining something with silk is definitely a sign that it's going to be high quality, isn't it? And it is by a designer called Ted Lapidus. There you go. Metal zip to the back, really pretty. I instantly fell in love with the fastenings on this jacket. I just think it's so beautiful and different. I've never seen anything like it before. Little pleat details, ever so slight shoulder padding, just finish off this jacket perfectly. He is very collectible. He used to make menswear and women's wear in the 70s to the 90s, but no longer does that. You can still buy some perfume there of his, I've recently found, and vintage perfume. I saw some unboxing on Instagram. So also a good place to research, just obviously using the hashtags. Really cute, super cute little linen suit. The fastenings, one of the reasons why I wanted to show you this piece is what attracted me to it in the without me knowing he was actually a very desirable collectible vintage designer. I just loved the whole cut and silhouette of this jacket, of this whole suit. It's like a little safari suit going on, and he actually did invent the safari suit, is what I found out from my research. But the fastenings is what I really loved, and then when I found out all this and how he invented the safari suit, I was just like, oh, so cool, so cool. And it's so cute. I think this will look wicked worn to like a little to a summer wedding. It's so pretty. Now I don't really like red, but last week I did a how to wear a vintage maxi skirt video in 3 different ways, so I'll link that here and go and check it out because there's some good tips in there if I don't say so myself. I am joking, by the way, but please go and check it out, let me know what you think. This is by designer Angela Gore. Teeny tiny little label there. You can't actually see it, I will just describe it though. It is embroidered and it's like stitched on. It has a very old size label in it, which is very small again, fully lined. And I don't really like red, but I liked like the length of this. I'm 6'1" and it is ankle length on me. You get a lot of skirt for your money here. And I love the fact that it's got like a little crocheted edge to it. So I knew she was a good designer. If I didn't, I would still be attracted to this skirt because of the whole sort of boho hippie vibe going on. Very Dolce & Gabbana this skirt is for me. So as we do know, fashion does tend to come round. Designers sort of copy other designers. So that's why I bought this skirt, but it just proves that I learned about her from just reading about her on that website, which you might think is a bit sad, but I just love it. So it is worth just sort of having a little bit of read when you're on the bus or something if you are trying to like enhance your vintage collection or your vintage knowledge. Now I want to show you these two pieces here. They're not necessarily designer, but they are very collectible vintage items to own. This coat. Now, if Kate Moss was here, I'm sure she'd be like fighting me for this coat. I don't blame her. These true like 60s to like early like 70s sheepskin embroidered Afghan coats are so hard to find. This is the first one I've ever owned in this sort of long silhouette. I've only actually ever owned two in the past. I've always wanted to own a coat like this because not only are they so cool, I just think they're amazing. I love all the in detail. It would have all had to have been done by hand. Look at that sort of shearling like detail along in it. It's just so cool. If you ever see a coat like this, it is really worth buying something because it is so old. It has that sort of Renaissance and everyone associates it with the sort of boho hippie vibe from the 60s and 70s. These are so desirable coats like these. Absolutely amazing. Oh, it is, just so you know, like 29 degrees outside. I'm willing to almost die for you. Yes, I know. Oh, so cool. I love it. It is such a desirable coat, really is. Anything with this sort of boho hippie vibe is huge. It's never going to be a trend that goes away. These coats aren't just amazing to look at, they're so warm in winter, and they're a real statement piece. You'll see lots of designers over the years keep like reproducing, yeah. You know what I mean, like making over again in their sort of way, but you can't beat the real McCoy, can you? And they are getting hard and hard to find because obviously they are sheepskins, so if you don't look after them well, like this one has been looked after, they can get damaged and they're very hard to repair if they are damaged. Another one here to show you is this, like, I'll show you the back because it's better actually, like embroidered like little gilet. Again, really hard to find these, especially in like, this does have a few marks on it, but it's still in really good condition and it's so highly decorative. I actually think this is older than the one that I'm wearing. Happier wearing now. That embroidery is amazing. I love it. It's got really cute sort of like the stands Uzbekistan, Pakistan and all that vibe going onto it. It is wicked. These pieces will always be hard to find because they're hard to find now, so they're just going to get harder and harder to find. So that in themselves, even though they're not designer, they actually don't have any labels in any of these coats because they were usually handmade or made in small batches, makes them desirable in their own right. So we've got the designer pieces over here, some lesser known vintage designers, and then some pieces that aren't necessarily designers but are collectible in their own right. So I hope you found this useful and that I haven't rambled on for too long. I really appreciate you all watching me, especially if you watched to the end or even if you watched 1 second. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I shall see you next week. Oh, before I go, don't forget to comment below and tell me which one was your fave. Thank you so much. Goodbye.